Darren, do the problems that we see in this match, are they fixable within the coaching staff and the team on tour?
Oh, I'd hope so. Yeah, we've certainly got a bat better, we know that. I mean, 55 overs in the first innings is not acceptable for this group, so we've got to get better at batting, full stop.
Will you look outside the squad for reinforcements potentially, other than Davey Warner coming back from...
Nope.
No.
Does that answer your question,
Yep,
please?
it does, thanks.
Ashton Agar is 19 years old and he's a bit sore. You think that there's a fair chance he obviously won't play in Sussex, and you'd look at bringing Lino back for the third test?
Oh, look, Ash is a bit sore, so I don't think he'll play in Sussex, and Nathan will play, obviously. And then again, we just have to look at the wicket. History shows that it spins a bit and reverses, so maybe two spinners, I don't know. We'll just have to look at that when we get to Manchester. But, you know, still impressive. He's only young, so he's been a great young lad, and, you know, he'll continue to improve.
So when you're looking after a 19-year-old, do you look after them best by nursing them through, or do you show faith and you want to keep them? I mean, it's a big ask, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit of both, I reckon, Malcolm. Again, we'll just have to see how he pulls up over the next few days and get him right, and then get to Manchester, have a look at the wicket, and look, if it's going to spin and spin like it is, then there's no doubt we will certainly look at two spinners. So we just have to work it out once we get there.
Darren, you say that you've got to improve for next test. I mean, it was 9 days. Is it time to make sort of technical changes, or is it more of a mental thing?
Probably more of a mental thing, I think, to be perfectly honest, and make sure they're ready to go, refresh as best we can, and have a good time down in Sussex, and make sure we play some decent cricket and bat it a lot longer than 90 overs if that's possible. So that's probably the key for us.
Darren, you mentioned it again, and it is still the batting, isn't it? You must be just fed up of saying it, really.
I've only said it for 2 test matches, so hopefully I don't have to keep saying it. But look, as a group, we know we've got to play better. Simple. We outplayed this game, and I felt sorry for the bowlers as a team. I mean, they only got 3.5 hours off, I think it was. So batters know we've got to actually contribute the whole time. Top 6, but top 7 really. The bottom order needs a bit of a rest before they go and bat.
Darren, do you think Matt Wade will play the tour game, and for the third test, could he push for selection as a batsman? Say
that all the time. The whole 18 have a chance to play, but Wade will play in the tour match.
And if he makes runs, would he be a chance to play as a batter?
Same as I always say, the whole 18 have a chance to play, Malcolm. So
you're not ruling it out? Not
ruling anything out. That's what happens when you have 2 losses. You've got to keep every options open. So as selectors, Rod and I and John will have to speak about it and see where we come from there.
You're clarifying that Ahmed's no prospect of being picked for Old Trafford, though, because he's outside the squad.
I've answered that question already, I'm sure. Did Chloe, you ask me that question just before?
Yep.
Yeah, so I think I'm pretty sure I've answered that one, John. But thank you for making me answer another question for you.
Anybody else? Michael said the other day that one of the things that you've done since you've come in is you've really galvanised the group.
Yep.
Are you confident that that's happened, that they've gelled well together, and they're not playing as well as you'd like, but they are on the right track?
Yep, we're going forward. We obviously need to make some more runs. I think we've bowled really well in the test matches, barring probably yesterday afternoon when I think they got 150 odd or 160, but I can understand that, to be perfectly honest, considering how much they bowled leading into all the days of the test match. I think they've only had 1 day off, to be fair. So bowling's fine, we've just got to get batting right, but we're all going in the same direction, so that's a pleasing thing. And at this time we've got to stick together as best we can.
Is there anything you can do to help get more out of Shane Watson, do you think, and help him get past that LBW issue?
Yeah, we've talked about it, and we've talked about it many times. So I actually think it was a pretty good ball today, to be fair, from Anderson. Nipped off the length and cut back. So the first innings he went across his pad, but this innings I thought he played pretty well. We love him to make big runs, as everyone would. But he's just one of the top 7 that has to do it. I mean, we had 2 guys get 50 today. 50s are not going to get you to where we need to go to. So Clark and Khawaja and Clark batted really well, but they need to make hundreds when they get in that position, just like young Root did.
Darren, does Sheffield cricket need to be put on more of a pedestal, do you think? Does it need more attention?
I think I sort of tackled that question the other day.
Right, yeah.
I think. I think it's a great competition. But again, someone said about halving the hundreds over the previous years, and that's a batting problem, isn't it? And we're seeing that at this level. So certainly batters at the domestic level have to make hundreds and force their way into the side, I think.
Darren, how do you kind of, a win is easy to paper over the cracks, but how do you keep the team together when things are happening outside your control, like David Warner's brother in 20 and criticising players?
I never met David Warner's brother, so look, we know within our group, to be perfectly honest, this is the way we're going, and we're going in that one direction. So we're really comfortable with that. We actually need to get some results, because that would obviously stop all these press conferences for a start, and actually realise that we are going the right way. And that's a confidence thing, to be perfectly honest. We get the mental side of it right, starting to bat better and have our results. I think we've bowled, as I said before, really well. We can't worry about what anyone else says or you guys write. You have your job to do, and that's fine. We accept the criticism. We deserve the criticism, to be fair. We've got to make sure we're going in the right direction. So those sorts of things I don't really just brush off.
So how would you describe the mood of the team? Obviously you're devastated at a loss, but in terms of being unified?
Good, really good. I'm really happy where it's going. With a win, I'd say 10. And with a loss, I'd say 8. How's that?
Darren, it obviously had no impact on the long-term outcome of the match, but there were a number of DRS decisions that were bewildering, to say the least. I mean, are the guys losing a bit of faith in the system?
Look, the system, again, we've got to use the system better. I think I said the same thing the other night. We've got to get better at using it.
But I mean, it wasn't it wasn't his call to use it. There was nothing on the hot spot.
Oh, look, that's for the officials to work out, and we just support DRS. We just got to make sure it's the right way and use it the right way.
Do you guys get any input to, is there a to and fro feedback, with you guys talking to the match officials?
Yeah, you're always talking to them at the end of the game. You obviously can't do it during the game, but yeah, making sure you're trying to get the best system in place so we always get the right outcome for everyone.
Yeah, Darren, I know it's often thrown out there as sort of an easy kind of thing to blame in terms of the lack of discipline in Test cricket, but in terms of 2020 and jumping across formats, do you think that has sort of over a period of time had some kind of effect on the way young batsmen are thinking about the game?
I think I answered this again the other day as well, in the fact that one thing you don't see in Test cricket anymore is draws. It's always results. So the game is moving forward naturally, where years ago it would be 500 versus 500, for example. Now it's a case of getting the game moving forward. Everyone's doing that, but you still have to be able to have the ability to bat 8-10 hours as a batsman, and we certainly aren't doing that as a team, let alone a batsman.
Last question.
You wonder why the batting is so bad. Like, I live in Canada and I see cricket on the internet, but you wonder why it's so bad. Like right now, some of those shots didn't seem.
So what's the question you want?
The question is, why is the batting so bad? Is the bowling that good, or the mental state not good, or they get themselves stressed out, or you see guys who've got normal shot players.
So which question would you like me to answer, sir?
Why is the batting so bad?
We've certainly had poor shot selection for a start, and they've bowled quite well. I'll give them some credit. So we've got to get better at playing reverse ball, off spin, all those sorts of things that make you bat for long periods of time.
Joe, last question, Chloe.
Right.
That's okay.
Can I?
Yeah.
You're right. I'm okay. I'm okay, mate. Yeah, I'm okay.
Shane Watson batted on leg or outside leg, which is something that you might have done once or twice in your career.
If they were a fast bowler, I was batting way outside leg, so I was scared. That was me as a batsman.
Exactly. So we suspect he's not scared.
Yeah, he certainly shouldn't be with that build.
What does that say? Is that a sort of a tactical response to what's going on in the game, or is that him having real concerns about his technique and having to make adjustments?
I would think, especially here at Lords with the slope and coming back in, he made that adjustment. And that may be different at Old Trafford when we see the wicket. It really depends on where you're playing, and they're going to target that. We know that. We know how they know how we're going to bowl to their batters. We know how that we're going to face their bowlers. So we've just got to make tactical decisions and technique decisions that actually work. At the moment, we're not coming up with the right ones and getting the right results. The plans are right. We just got to get the right results.
Darren, I know you probably rather 100 from him, but the circumstances was he with his first test back and I suppose the disappointing shot he played in the first innings. Were you happy with the fight he showed today?
Yeah, very happy about it. Close to 3 hours, I think, and showed a lot of fight. Obviously, I've seen that firsthand domestically. Disappointed in his first innings shot, and he was as well. And learnt from that and knuckled down and did a really good job. Again, disappointed because he didn't get 100. It was a type of wicket that you can get out quite quickly on. If you get through, then you had to make big runs, and we saw that from Bell and Root, but none from us.
Tim?
Michael's just in, obviously, really down, and he said how he takes this sort of thing so personally because he's the leader. How do you pick the skipper off over the next couple of weeks?
Well, he's on the way up, isn't he? I think 0, 23, 28 and 50. So hopefully he'll pick himself up and get 100 for us. He batted a lot better today, and that's a pleasing thing for us. There was improvement, but again, not enough. So he knows he's got to get some runs. He's a class player, and I'm sure, come next Test match, hopefully he'll get 100 for us.
Jack?
Yesterday, Joe Root said that he'd spent 6 months at the Darren Lehmann Academy. I was wondering if you could claim a little bit of credit for that. And what other Englishmen are coming through the system that have actually been through the Australian system?
Well, none anymore. We'll get rid of that academy very quickly. Yorkshire, obviously I have a pretty close relationship with Yorkshire, so I know that their players really well. If we had taken his chance on 8, I would have been very happy. And then we wouldn't be having this discussion, to be perfectly honest. But look, he's a good young kid, and he's played quite well within his limitations, and he's an exciting prospect, and we've actually bowled quite well to him. Obviously missed an opportunity yesterday early on, and we've got to get that. I'm sure we'll get more opportunities come the next few Test matches with him.